Man, fatherhood is just amazing. Personally, I enjoy being a father. It's one of the most fulfilling things. I can't even explain it. Even when things get a little out of hand, it's still like, you sit back and laugh at it because it's not really that serious, man. It's just those moments are just amazing. You out there playing. Like, I got a little son, so we be out there playing, doing all type of stuff, and I'm just trying to get him on the right path in life. Like, that's my number one goal, is to make sure he gets out here on the right foot, because the world is crazy and I want to make sure my legacy is good. Like, everybody that comes after me, I want all of us to be, all y'all, I should say, to be set up good. I'm gonna do the work to make sure everybody else behind me is set up good. And to me, that's what fatherhood is about. Just taking care of the family and doing your best to provide a great life for your family, your kids. That's fatherhood. The world needs to give the fathers recognition, honestly. What's up, everybody? This is DDS, and in today's video, this is a special video. It's very personal, very important, and it's about fatherhood. And that's something that's very important to me. And as I get older and continue down my journey through fatherhood, I realize how really important it is for our community and the world as a whole. And that's really what I'm gonna touch on, and just share my experiences with fatherhood, like share the stories of, like when my son was born, things of that nature, the men that came before me to help me get to where I am in life, and just why it's important. And Father's Day is coming up. This will be my 8th Father's Day, which is crazy for me to even think about. This is my 8th Father's Day, and I just want to take a moment to document this and, show some recognition to the fathers out there in the world that's taking care of their kids and handling business, and just share why it's important. Like, this stuff is so important to me. The other night I stayed up till like 4 o'clock in the morning and wrote a whole script out for this video. I've never done that before, and it's literally 3.5 pages long, and I'm probably going to end up going off of the script, but I will be reading from it. You guys aren't going to just sit here and watch me read, though. I'm going to turn this into a nice video. So please let me know what you think in the comments below. This is very important. If you're a father and you're watching this on Father's Day, happy Father's Day. I'm sending this to some of the fathers that I know. So if you got this from me, that's a good sign. Fatherhood. What is a father to me? A father is a man, a provider, a protector, a leader, a guide, an example. On May 22nd, 2013, I got the most important role of my life. I became a father. I remember that day like it was yesterday. I intentionally wore a Superman Man of Steel shirt with the Superman logo across the chest. I intentionally wore that shirt because I knew that day I would become Superman or Super Dad to someone. It really hit me when the doctor handed my son to me and escorted us to a room alone. He wasn't even 10 minutes old at this time, my son. I took him over to the window and showed him his first glimpse of the world. In that moment, I looked at my son and said, no matter what, I'm going to take care of you. Here we are, a full 8 years later, and I'm proud to say I have stood by my words from that day. And that's 100% true. I remember that moment. Like, I can go back to that moment at any time and just sit there and be like, dang, I remember he was so small. The doctor was like, here, go to this room, and we'll have everybody back in there in a second, and all that stuff. So it was literally just us. It was quiet, and I looked at him, he looked at me, and I kind of like tilted to show him the window so he could see the outside world. And it was just amazing. It was an amazing moment, something that I'll cherish forever, because it's like, in that moment, it was like, oh, this is real. I already knew this was real, but like, this is real. Me being young myself, like, my son was born when I was 20 years old, so I was still young, and I'm gonna touch on that later on. But that moment right there is like when it was like, okay, it's not about me, it's about making sure that you're good, and taking things and basically setting him up for life, making sure he has a good life. Of course, I want to enjoy my life too, but it's more so about, making sure that we're doing what's right for him. So beyond that, here's some of my background. Growing up, I had a lot of father figures around me. I had my father, I had a stepfather, I had grandfathers, and I had an uncle who was a father figure to me. And I gave him this speech at my wedding too a little bit. So I'm gonna go into this just a little bit, but I'm not gonna go too deep into it. Looking back, I'm so grateful for this. As we all know, there are some boys being raised without any father figures, unfortunately. This could be happening for multiple reasons, and I'm not here to discuss those reasons. I am here to celebrate my fellow fathers and father figures. If you have children and you are able to be involved, but you choose not to be, you get zero respect and you are trash.
Bro, you're trash, bro.
Like, for real, I really mean that. Like, the way I feel, the men that I was brought up around, they are involved in their children's lives. I don't know too many people personally that choose not to be involved in their children's lives. Even if there is issues with the other parent and things of that nature, they're generally still involved in their children's lives one way or the other. Through the, the back and forths, the ups and downs and all that, they're still there. And as a kid coming up, I even butted heads with my dad, my stepdad. I butted heads with almost all of them at some point in time. But it helped me become who I am today. And I feel like that is very important. And I know there are some people out there who have kids and just don't be bothered with them. And that's the person that I'm talking to right there, where I say you get zero respect. Because if you bring somebody into this world, they didn't ask to be here. It is your duty and your responsibility to take care of them and guide them and help them get to that next level in life, so that way they don't end up just falling to the wayside. That is a belief that I truly have, because, you hear the examples over and over and over again about people not being raised with a father in the home. And I'm not saying y'all have to live in the same home. I'm just saying be involved. That's important. And I know a lot of well-to-do businessmen say that they look at people's characters, and if they do not take care of their kids and things of that nature, that's a bad reflection on them, and they will not do business with them. So that's another side of it. Like, not even just from me, there's no respect in that. Like, you got to take care of your kids. So the great part about having so many father figures in my life is I learned a lot of different lessons that I will apply to my life and become the best man I could be. Some of these lessons include the importance of family, what it means to be a man, do what you have to do to provide for your family, protect your family. You can come back from anything, keep God in your life, and laugh a lot. These are only a few of the gems that I was able to think of in this moment, but I could do a whole video series on just the lessons I've learned. And I really mean that. Like, from each and every one of them, I've learned tons of things, whether it just came from me watching, conversations, or just things that I've seen them do over time. And now that I'm older, I understand it's so many lessons, and that is some valuable stuff right there. Like, I'm looking at my son, like, when he gets old enough, I'm gonna be able to instill this in him. I'm gonna be able to instill that in him and help him get into life better, I guess, if that makes sense. Get a better footing and understanding of things, and be able to be there, teach him and guide him stuff. I feel like that is very important. Being that I was only 20 years old when my son was born, at times I feel like we are growing together. It really amazes me seeing how much we've grown. It's one of the greatest feelings in the world to look back at how things were then to where they are now. It's truly an honor being a father. And that is like one of the things that bring me a lot of joy, is to sit and just look at stuff. Like, he was doing something today. I think he was just calling me. And I'm like, man, I should record this, because, at this point in time, he say, Dad. But at some point in time, that voice is going to change. And, it's going to be a different attitude and all that stuff. And it's like, I need to cherish these moments. And I just look at all the videos I capture. Like, that's one thing I love about having these type of devices. Like, you can store this stuff. It's not like back in the day where you had to go get the disposable cameras and all of that stuff. It's like all stored in the phone. You can have stuff on the cloud, on your computer, all of that, and just pull it up whenever. That is some of the greatest joy that I have. And sometimes I just look back and be like, dang, man, we really here. Like, coming from where I was, I'm going on 29 years old. So going from where we were 9 years ago, 8 years ago to now is just phenomenal. Like my wife and I, we sit back and be like, we really doing this. Like we're making it happen. And that is an amazing feeling. Seriously, it's an amazing feeling. As I mentioned, a father is a provider and protector. I'm dedicated to making sure my son doesn't need anything, no matter what it takes. As a protector, I will jump in the den of lions to protect my child. Excuse me. So pretty much what I'm saying there is like, I'm dedicated to doing whatever it is to make sure my son doesn't need anything. You know, by the grace of God, my wife and I, we've been able to provide for my child, no issues, anything like that. And as far as protecting goes, I'm always willing to protect my child no matter what. Like I understand that, like that whole thing about right or wrong and all that stuff. It's like, I understand that, like you're there for your kid no matter what, and you're there to protect them. And that's a whole nother level that I feel like a lot of people don't realize until you actually have a child, you know. Now, this next part is very important. As I mentioned, a father is a leader, a guide, and an example. For me, I lead my son in the direction that I believe will be more beneficial for him in the long term, even if going in that direction may be tough for the moment. As a guide, I am already providing information to my son that will help him have a huge advantage in life as he gets older. As you guys can see, he already knows about investing. My wife and I even show him how to create and sell products. So now we are guiding him on a path to be his own boss. Now, being an example may be more important than the other things I have mentioned. That is because our kids are watching our moves through life. If we are telling them to do one thing, but yet we are doing another, they will begin to question why you don't practice what you preach. And that's 100% true. Like, I have videos on this channel where my son shares his book. You know, my wife and I were able to take that idea that he had and bring it to fruition. And then from there, actually lead to him selling books. That's a business. My son has a business. He sells books. We're working on other products for him currently. Now, as far as the investing goes, my son has stocks. My son has a portfolio, a nice portfolio. I have a video on this actual channel from, I want to say it was like January, February 2020, where I sat down with him at the age of 6 and we went through and I let him pick out some stocks he wanted to buy. And I used Stockpile at that point. And it was where you were able to buy fractional shares. So that's one portfolio, but he has another portfolio. And we have these conversations about stocks and things of that nature, because that is something that I feel I wish I would have had earlier. You know, had I known about stocks when I first started working, you know, at the age of 17 years old, I'd have been buying stocks ever since I was 17. Imagine the value that stuff would have grown to had I just been buying and investing at that point in time. And investing goes beyond that. Like, he sees the lights and the computer equipment, the camera, all of that is investments for the business. And when we are teaching our kids to do these type of things, I feel like that is putting them on a path that gives them an advantage. On top of that, down to back to what I was saying about the stocks and things of that nature, with me being into it, I'm giving him all of the knowledge that I have because I want him to be successful. I want him to have $1 million portfolio by the time he's my age. All of that. I want him to be able to have that advantage, and that is very important to me. And that's where it goes back to being a guide. I want to guide him to be as successful as he can be with whatever it is he wants to do. Now, I'm not saying I want him to be a stock investor, music producer, all that stuff. Like, no, I'm saying I want that stuff so that way he has the advantage to be able to do what it is he wants to do. He won't have to, you know, struggle, worry about bills and all that stuff as he goes through life. I feel like that is very important. Some people don't believe in that stuff. Some people believe once your kid gets 18, that's it. They get the boot and you get to go back to living your life how you want to live it. Like for me personally, I am not like that. I am somebody who wants to give my child the best head start. You know, when he gets old enough to buy a house, I want to be like, listen, I got half of the total value of your house right here. Go ahead and put that down as a down payment. Get a start, you know, things of that nature. That's something that I want to do. And even in the closer future, I look at it where I want to be able to get him that car when he gets 16, whatever car it is, you know, let's get him a car. Well, I take that back, not whatever car, but get him a decent car. Things of that nature. I feel like that is very, very important. And as an example, me being a man in my home, he sees me every single day, how I operate, how I move, how I deal with him, how I talk. He sees all of that. He sees the work. So he knows it takes work to make stuff happen. It just goes, your example just goes beyond anything you could say, in my opinion. So that's that action speaks louder than words. So that's pretty much all I wrote on the script side of things. Like I have right here, I just wanted to make this video to share my thoughts on fatherhood and how I'm setting my son up to win in life. I can do more videos on this topic if you guys would like. But, you know, before I end the video, I appreciate you guys that are still here for this. Please subscribe if you aren't subscribed. Before I end it, no offense. I wasn't trying to offend nobody. If you somebody out there that got offended by this because you don't take care of your kids and stuff like that, I mean, I'm not sorry for offending you. It wasn't my intention to offend you, but I just feel like fathers are really important, and I always felt that way. It's just as I got older, it starts to stick out more. And, you know, I see some kids out here losing their fathers to different things. And it always bothers me when I see young kids out here losing fathers. And I just hope that those kids have some type of father figure, as in an uncle, a grandfather. It could be an older cousin, an older brother that's actually older than them, that can guide them down the right path, man. Because these kids need that guidance. I know, like on Mother's Day, and I'm not trying to do a Mother's Day, Father's Day comparison. A lot of mothers get a lot of shine, and the fathers on Father's Day don't really get the same amount of shine. It's a meme on Facebook and everything, so you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I just want to give all my fellow fathers, you know, a moment of shine. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Yeah, man, take some time, spend time with your kids. That's very, very important. And when all of this mentioned, like I didn't mention anything about buying stuff either. I want to point that out. The investing stuff is investing in their future, where you can build that generational wealth. But outside of that, it's not about what you buy. It's about the time and the memories you create. Especially, that's how I look at it. That's why I'm always capturing moments, taking pictures, everything. 'Cause it's always important to me to be there and capture these moments, because God forbid anything can happen at any moment. And I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to go into any details on that stuff, but it's just, you know, that's how the world is. And you want to have those memories. That's one thing that I always cherish, just like little moments that I have with my son every single day. I'm like, he is going to remember this stuff. I promise you, because I can remember when I was his age. So he's going to remember all this stuff. But anyway, you guys, thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you're watching this on Father's Day, happy Father's Day to you. If you're watching this outside of Father's Day or after Father's Day, still happy Father's Day to you. Because if you're on your job as a father, you are appreciated. Hopefully you have a wonderful day. Take care.